Hi, everybody. How are you? We're down to the end of chapter 6. We got two more things to cover. So I'm going to post one today, post on Thursday. Your portfolio is going to be due for me soon after, next week sometime. So we do need to get moving on these things. Hopefully, you're keeping up on them. 6. Fractional or rational exponents. Fractional numbers, rational numbers, same thing. And what happens when they're exponents? So let's kind of look at what we know. When we square a number, and then when we square root a number, those are inverse. They're opposite operations. They're inverse. And we did inverse in 6-2, the idea of the opposite. Squaring and square rooting are inverse, they're opposites. But what happens if the exponent is a fraction? How is that going to look? And so I'll take you through something that you should take down to kind of keep and refer back to. So I have b to the 1/2. And what happens if I square it? If I square that, we know that that means b to the 1/2 times b to the 1/2, because it's times itself. And what's our rule with exponents? Common basis, we add the exponents, b to the 1. So we can figure that out, that shows that, okay, b to the 1/2 is equal to the square root of b. Because what happens when we do this? If we square a square root, we just get b. If we square a square root, we get b. So b to the 1/2 is equal to the square root of b. And remember, this is a 2 right here, because it's the square root, times itself twice. So let's do a couple little examples like that. What's 16 to the 1/2 power? We know that that means anything to the 1/2 power is the square root of 16. And so, we can keep simplifying. That's going to be our goal here, to simplify. So we'll get 4. How about 20 to the 1/2 power? Well, that's going to be the square root of 20. The goal is to recognize when you see the 1/2 power, put it into the root form. And the square root of 20 is, we know this if we're going to keep simplifying, square root of 4 times the square root of 5. So I'm getting a little simplification practice in for you here with simplifying the radicals. And square root of 4 is 2 square root of 5, right there. Okay, so what if we had 27 to the 1/3 power? Okay, so now it's not just 1/2, it's 1/3. So that means we're dealing with the cube root, because whatever is here is going to go there. Whatever is here is going to go there. That's how many times we're going to root that. So the cube root of 27 will give us 3. What times itself 3 times is 27, and that's going to be 3. All right? So we have those. Change pencils. Actually, I'm not. This one's worse. So what then happens if we do this? X to the 3/2. This, we've learned up here, goes here, so it's going to be the square root. And then This number is going to be how many times we multiply it together here. So that is our simplification right there. Now, we learned in a previous section about how to deal with this, right? If we were going to simplify this. Square root of x squared times x, right? And so x to the third, x squared times 1, so there's our x to the third broken down. We know that the square root of x squared is x times the square root of x. So we kind of leave it like that. But let's keep playing this out. We learned above that square root of x is equal to x to the half. And this is x to the 1. And what happens when we multiply these? We add the exponents. And what's 1 plus a half? 1 and 1/2, which is 3/2. So I've just taken you through kind of this idea of inverse and all the different elements from the fraction to the root, how to break it down again, and then build it back up again. That's kind of the thinking process of inverse that we did in 6-2, but it gets to show you kind of the reason why this and this are the same. If you want to put a 2 there, we can. I think it's inferred that we, as math students at this age, understand that the square root of the 2 is missing, and we know that. This is our numerator, and that's our denominator. Okay, I'm going to end this video there because that, in a sense, covers everything. I'm going to give you a few practice ones. This one's not heavy lifting. The last section was a lot more dense. This one is just kind of understanding fraction exponents. It's something you need to know as part of this course. And we'll have some questions like this that I want you to address in the portfolio. Thank you very much. Hope things are well.